financial professionals who attend his ongoing continuing education programs to maintain a mastery of advanced retirement account and tax planning strategies. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to Discover 23 our kickoff speaker, EdSlott.
I see people still coming in. You know, it's the worst. It's the best spot and the worst spot, but it's never good when you follow food. The only thing, food always wins. All right. The only thing harder than getting people away from food is extricating money from TIAA. So you're in the right place at the right time. All the planets are aligned for you to do great business and at the right time of the year. It's the fourth quarter. What I love about the fourth quarter, well, it's almost the fourth quarter, all right, is people start to take action. You're going to find people that you've had conversations with that are willing to take action because there is a time limit on many things. 3-year time limit for many things now because of the tax law. So think about a 3-year plan. What do I mean by a 3-year plan? You have the rest of 23, 24, and 25. And what happens after 25? Tax rates scheduled to go up. Will they? We don't know, but we have to plan with the laws we have. And this is the other opportunity. We're in the lowest tax rates. Everybody complains about taxes, but most people don't realize these are the good old days. We're in the lowest tax rates most of your clients will ever see in their lifetime. Give them a history of tax rates chart. You can get it anywhere. We print them all the time. Because they don't realize how good it is now. You need a frame of reference or how bad it could be later. The years the baby boomers were born, 1946 through 1964, the top federal tax rate for every one of those years exceeded 90%. Except the last year, 1964. That's when the Beatles came to America. I don't know if this part's true, but it sounds true. The other part's true. But except for 1964, when the Beatles came to America, how would I know? I was only 10 years old. And everybody was so happy that they lowered the top federal rate all the way down to only 77%. That is true. And the whole country, I hear, did a happy dance because the top rate was only 77%. That's more than double today's top rate. The tax rates are key to everything. Now, what I'm talking about is where you can provide. You just heard me talk about providing value. The tax planning, you can save people a fortune of money. Which people? Everybody. What you should be doing throughout this program, and start right now with this program, think about who you're going to take action with. 3 steps: identify, explain, and show. Identify, explain, and show. Identify the people you're going to contact, because it doesn't matter what you learn. If you don't use it, if you don't put your ideas or what you've learned into action, nothing will ever happen. Identify the clients who most need to be contacted. That's easy. Everyone with an IRA, and especially your clients with the largest IRAs, because they're at the highest risk of losing more of that to future tax rates. Identify clients you need to contact Monday morning. Explain why their current plan doesn't work anymore. Many people think their current plan, maybe you did it for them 5 years ago. That's too late. Doesn't work anymore because of the SECURE Act, the IRS regulations, SECURE 2.0, and other major changes to payouts on retirement. Explain why it doesn't work. And the third part, identify, explain, show them alternative solutions. We'll touch on a few of them today, like Roth IRAs and life insurance. Move to tax-free vehicles as a hedge against what future higher tax rates could do to their standard of living in retirement. Somebody once said a great essay answers 3 questions: what, so what, and now what. It's kind of the same thing I just told you. What? What's the problem? So what? Why is it a problem? Now what? Once they know, they see, nobody cares about a solution if they don't think they have a problem. That's why so what's important. So what? Why is it a problem? Now what? What are we going to do about it? That's what brings value to you. So we had the Secure Act. It changed everything. It's a few years old already, but the people you want to identify are not only your current clients. You want to have conversations with every relationship. So it starts with your current clients. Many people, advisors, I think when I was an advisor, an accountant, that's what I am, a CPA, I kind of did the same thing. We don't focus on our current clients because we already have them. But I think your current clients are still 80% prospect from the business you don't have from them already. And the people they know. Remember, these people already bet their life savings on you. They like you, they trust you, they respect you. These are the people to start in with. They're already open to whatever your message is because they believe in you. They've entrusted their money to you. Their retirement money, their life savings. To start with the current clients. Then to your succession plan, the beneficiaries. These are the people that will be most affected by these retirement plan payouts, the 10-year rule under the Secure Act. They're going to get demolished in taxes. That's why this is all about taxes. Think about beyond beneficiaries, prospects too. You know, people you might not have heard from in years. Maybe nobody called them. Who knows? You make a few calls, oh yeah, no, I haven't talked to anybody, I still have the problems. And then centers of influence, accountants, attorneys, anybody that you can think of to put the plan together for the benefit of the client. Taxes are critical. Now I know many advisors tell me, oh, and they even have it on their cards and all their disclaimers. What am I going to say? We don't do tax planning, right? That's bogus, all right? You can say it all you want, and that sounds good for compliance and everything, but you do tax planning. Because if you don't, you're nothing. You're not doing anything for anybody. Yeah, you're investing money, but I don't care how much money you make somebody, if they lose it all on the way out to taxes that could have been saved. What have you done? You help them build a savings account for Uncle Sam. What's the point of that? So when you say you don't do taxes, that's not true. When you touch an IRA, you're doing tax planning. When you advise on a Roth conversion, you're doing tax planning. When you advise on a rollover, you're doing tax planning. When you advise on RMDs, even helping them, you're doing tax planning. When you're talking to the beneficiaries about their payouts, you're doing tax planning. You're doing tax planning, whether you know it or not. But now you know it. And that's where the benefit is. Taxes are the single biggest factor that will separate people from their retirement dreams. And it's bad now. The biggest threat to people's retirement savings now is a 4-letter word. Nope, it's not kids. Where's the payoff on that investment? I'm still waiting on that one. Used to be the American dream was to own your own home. Now it's getting the kids out of it. Nope, the 4-letter word is math. M-A-T-H.
Oh.
Look at the numbers, the budget deficits. It's in the trillions. You know, I used to say it was a phone number, but now it's even more than a phone number, even with the area code and the 1. Most of your clients' money is in trouble. It's in tax-deferred accounts, IRAs, 401ks. That money has not yet been taxed, but it will at probably the worst possible time. And if you believe in math like I do, maybe Congress doesn't. At some point, Congress has got to, I guess they can keep kicking the can down the road, but at some point the bills have got to be paid. Who's going to get caught? The people with the most money that has not yet been taxed. They're sitting ducks, these IRAs. And the Secure Act made it way worse. And that's where you have to explain why their current plan no longer works. It always gets me, Congress, I've studied tax law for a long time, and it's always been the case that whenever Congress names a law, you can almost always bet that whatever they name it, it will do exactly the opposite. How's that Budget Reconciliation Act working out? So when I heard the term Secure Act, I said to myself, hold on to your wallets. So what did they do with the Secure Act? They downgraded IRAs, 401ks, tax-deferred accounts. And this is one thing you have to get across to clients. One of the problems we have as professionals, me included, we take our own knowledge for granted. We think if we know something that's so simple, everybody knows it. Everybody doesn't know it. When I do consumer programs, I do a lot of them. I did one just the other night. It's funny, the other night, what was it? Not last night, the night before, I was in a place called the Mall of Georgia. Now I'm in the Mall of America. Anyway, I always start simple. The difference, and you have to explain this, because they have to understand that they have a problem. Otherwise, they're not open to a solution. They don't really get a grasp on the difference between tax-deferred and tax-free. And I always say it like this. The difference is huge. That big difference between tax-deferred and tax-free comes down to one little three-letter word. Yet. Y-E-T. Tax-deferred means you won't pay taxes on that money, and they all say it. Yet, because they get it. Now they get it. But you will, at some future date, maybe on a higher balance at a higher rate, as opposed to tax-free, which means you'll never pay taxes on that money. And then I give them what I call my always rules. I always throw out some always rules because everything you see on TV, not me, but they're wishy-washy. They're afraid to give an opinion. Everybody's afraid of everything. Maybe, could be, depends, who knows, could be, generally. So my first always rule in every consumer seminar, tax-free is always better. You keep 100% of your money. Everybody gets that. But they don't get that their IRA statement doesn't belong to them.
Right.
They think it's theirs. You know what theirs is? The IRS, right? The IRA is an IOU to IRS. So what Congress did, they didn't like the idea of this big stretch IRA. And going back to the Secure Act, they didn't like the idea that beneficiaries could go out 40, 50, 60 years deferring the tax all these years. And they said, enough of that. We're going to kill that. And they did kill it. And they replaced it with what we now have as generally the 10-year rule. All of that money has to come out in 10 years after death. That's why I say you have to focus on the next generation, planning with the end in mind. Why? Because what Congress did is shorten the window when all this money has to come gushing out. What does that mean? More of it is going to be taxed. When you push more income into a shorter window, the rates are going to go up on everybody, and that's at today's rates. What if the math kicks in and rates go higher, and some of these beneficiaries may be in their own highest earning years when that happens? This is why you want to connect with those people and tell them you have a plan. You also want to connect with them because that's the future of your business. Many people exclude, I'm talking about the adult children, not babies. You know, the kids are going to be 40, 50, 60, who knows when the parents die. You want to connect with those people. Because if you don't have a relationship with the next generation, it doesn't matter how good you are. Once the parents die, they'll turn their business over to one of their friends who maybe once read a book about it. Even though you may be more qualified, you have to get that connection. So this is the time to get that. So Congress downgraded IRAs as a wealth transfer or estate planning vehicle long term. In other words, IRAs are awful now. And this is coming from somebody who made a living on IRAs. They're horrible, awful. You know, I do a lot of crossword puzzles, and it's another thing I've been throwing in the consumer programs because I'm on planes a lot. And one that always comes up, bad or unpleasant smell, 4 letters. Odor, right. And then another one, kind of the opposite, comes up, pleasant smell, appealing, alluring smell, 5 letters.
Aroma?
That's who said that?
Aroma?
Yeah, you've got a life. Yeah. Aroma. So here's the way I explain it. Do you want this dirty, stinking stench of an IRA just growing for the government? Or would you like the aroma of a tax-free account? which would be better? Which would you rather have? The aroma or the one with the tax stench? Because that's what IRAs are. So the plan for the next 3 years is to bring those balances down. But it means paying taxes. That's okay, because you're getting it at low rates. That's the key. You gotta look, too many people look at the short term, but it costs me money now. Yes, but this is money that would have to be spent anyway. Taxes are on sale is what I'm telling you. Here's a husband and wife thing. It has nothing to do with any of this. What does it mean when your wife comes home and says, "You're not going to believe how much money I made you today"? How did she, I don't speak that language. How did she make me all this money? Yeah, she went out and went shopping and got something on sale. So for you guys that don't understand this logic, here, I'll explain it. If a thing in a store costs $1,000 and my wife gets it for $100, somehow I made $900.
Correct.
Are you still with me on this?
Yes.
All right, follow the logic through now, because it really gets better. If she does this 1,000 times a day in the Mall of America here, somehow I made $1 million every day. But here's the thing. Sorry to say, that thing in the store, you don't actually have to buy it. But with the taxes, you do. It's not if, but when. So as long as you know this bill is coming due, get it on sale. It has to be bought anyway. It's the only way to bring down this smelly IRA and get it out of the portfolio and turn it into tax-free vehicles and taking advantage of today's lower rates. Great ways to do that, obviously the Roth IRA conversion. I think it's the greatest account ever created. There's no question it's a tax-free account. The only question is, how much are people willing to pay for it? But you have to, again, talk to them with the end in mind. That's your job. Not only to create wealth, but to preserve it for their lives and beyond. So look at what they have at the end of the line, not what it costs now. The whole key to the Roth IRA, all it is a bet. That's it. It's a bet on future tax rates. If you think future tax rates are going up, then that bet wins every time. Even if rates are the same, that bet wins. And then when I ask retirees, like the groups I speak to a lot, do they think tax rates would ever go down? Nobody thinks that. So that means that bet wins. So for example, let me put it, there are a lot of seminars, financial seminars, as you know, I don't understand, even we run our own there, so I still don't understand it, in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, we run seminars on how to be prudent with money. I don't get it, but we run our own there because it draws people. Right? But imagine you're in Las Vegas, and for one day, because of true choice, and I'm not saying this is true, but what if it was, you went to Las Vegas after this conference, don't go now, and if you showed your true choice attendance at the Discover program here, they say, we're going to change the odds. You know, you go to Las Vegas, all the glitz and the gold and the lights. City, I call it built by losers, because who else built it? Losers. And from what I understand, and I'm not expert there, but the people in Las Vegas make all this money on just a 1% override. They only need to tip the scales to 51% for them to make all of that money in most cases. So I'm saying, because of true choice, you could go there and have this one-time bet on whatever you want, but they're going to change the odds to 95% you win, 5% the house wins. Who would take that bet? All right, it's early in the morning. I need a live audience. Now, let me explain. 95% you win, 5% the house wins. Who would take that bet? All right. Because I know your numbers, people, so I was a little worried. That's what I think the Roth is. It's about a 95% chance, maybe 90%. The tax rates for most clients, especially clients with the largest IRAs, they're the most impacted. Because they're going to have large RMDs. If you do nothing, that IRA just grows and compounds and builds against them. You know what I tell people? I tell people, because you have to talk how they understand it. Your IRA is a joint account with Uncle Sam. That's what it is. Imagine if people understand what a joint account is, but isn't that what an IRA is? It's a joint account with Uncle Sam. But it's not like the joint account you have with your spouse, where it's probably 50. Joint account generally 50-50. No, the joint account with Uncle Sam gets to tell you how much his percentage will be when he needs the money. Does that sound like a good account to have? That's an IRA. And it's worse now because there's an end date of 10 years after death, so all that tax is going to hit. So we have 3 years, and everybody talks about inflation. Yeah, inflation's lousy, but when it comes to tax planning, it's great. Inflation, we have low rates, so what happens? The brackets expanded, 22 to 23. If you look at the comparisons, we had because of the inflation factor, the cost of living adjustments on the tax brackets, we had the largest expansion of the brackets in history from 22 to 23. The rates are the same, but more money can pass through these unbelievably low rate, large brackets. So inflation is good, but you have 3 years to get this out. Maybe a 3-year plan for Roth IRAs, Roth conversions. I get it that some people don't want to pay the tax, but you've got to get them to focus on the long-term big picture. Anybody here from Atlanta? You don't have to admit it. I mean, but all right, I saw a couple of hands. Anybody ever been, I don't like to make people raise their hands. They're uncomfortable, but just for the heck of it, by a show of hands, just so I know for the rest of the program, by a show of hands, how many people just don't like to raise their hands? All right, how many people have been to Atlanta? All right, what street? Peachtree, of course. There's only one street. They have no ideas, no imagination, no Fifth Avenue, no Park Avenue. Everything's Peachtree. We run programs, like I said, I was there the other day. I'm there quite a bit. And you ask somebody for directions. Where is it? Oh, it's on Peachtree. Well, Peachtree and where? Peachtree and Peachtree. Oh, that's helpful. So I'm walking around one day on Peachtree, and I come across the Margaret Mitchell house. You know who she is? Yeah, Gone with the Wind. She wrote Gone with the Wind almost 90 years ago. And her little apartment is there, supposedly where she wrote the book. It took her 10 years to write Gone with the Wind. But what I found really interesting is she wrote the last chapter first. She began with the end in mind. That's what we should be doing as planners. Where do we want to end up? Not what it costs up front. By doing Roth conversions now, and I'm not saying it's for everybody, but every one of you should have a conversation with every client that has a Roth IRA, that has an IRA that's a candidate for a Roth conversion, just to let them know that taxes are on sale. You should at minimum have a conversation, identify every client, especially the ones with the largest IRAs, because the problem doesn't go away. Most people think, well, if I don't convert, I don't have to pay any tax up front. Yeah, the problem doesn't go away. The IRA grows, and at some point it'll be out of control. See, you want to control your tax rates. You want to help your clients control their tax rates. They want control. Once you hit R&D territory, now at age 73, it's out of control. Now you're on the government plan. I always tell people, you want your plan, not the government plan. You want control. You want to control your tax rates. That's what you can do now by bringing that IRA balance now. You can control it. Here's a bit, some of you my age might get this from my generation when I was growing up watching TV. You ever hear the show Get Smart? Yeah, see, you don't have to raise your hands. It's very much more comfortable now, right? Anyway, that show featured secret agent Maxwell Smart. What agent number was he?
99.
Yeah, somebody said 99. Now, it was actually 86, but I know who said 99. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I was talking about inflation, so maybe by now it's up to 99. No, it doesn't affect the secret agent number, otherwise 007 would be 99. No, he was 86, and he was a member of what, and I didn't even pick up on this. I was just a kid watching the show. I only picked up on what I'm going to tell you a few years ago. He was an agent of what organization for good? I just gave you a hint. I said the word 10 times. I counted in my head. What organization for good? Control. How many times did I just say control? You were listening. And his nemesis, the organization for evil, was what? Chaos with a K. Do you remember that? If you want Chaos? It took me till college. I thought chaos was spelled that way. But it didn't hit me till a few years ago. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. It's just out of the blue. Oh, they're opposite. I get what they did. Control and chaos. They're opposites. That's what. Well, that's what your clients want and don't want. They want control, not chaos. Because if they can't control their tax rates, they will have chaos. They'll have uncertainty, unknown future higher rates. The key to the whole Roth IRA is a bet on future tax rates. Like I said, if you don't do anything, the problem doesn't go away. You can't ignore it. It's like the sign my dentist has in her office. It says, ignore your teeth and they'll go away. Same thing here. You ignore the problem, the IRA will be self-eroding. That's what it's doing. Every time it goes up for a future partner. We don't even know what percentage. The key to all tax planning, and it's another one of my always rules, is so simple and people don't get it because they're short-sighted. They only look at what it costs up front. Always pay taxes at the lowest rates. That's so simple. You'll always keep more of your hard-earned money. Always pay taxes at the lowest rates. Think of the Roth like a stock. Buy low and sell high. That's what you're doing. It's like the old comedian Henny Youngman once said, I'm putting all my money in taxes. The only thing sure to go up. He was right. It's a bet on that. I don't do, many of you know, I just do tax planning. I don't sell stocks, bonds. I don't do any financial investing. But this will be the only investing advice I'll give you for this program. I notice lots of people investing now in marijuana stocks. I don't know much about that, but my only advice is buy low and sell high. That's it for my investing advice. Pretty good advice.
Sure win.
The Roth IRA, the benefits, obviously, it grows tax-free. You're in control because there's no R&Ds. It grows tax-free for the rest of your life. No, if you take the money out, no tax. Remember, if we're worried about future higher tax rates, anything taxed, when rates go up, anything tax-free becomes immediately more valuable. Like Roth IRAs, like life insurance, anything tax-free. The plan is to get these monies down, get rid of that stench of IRAs, and build it up in an account that has an aroma, because people keep 100% of their money. They don't have to share. There's no obligation. People don't get this, to share your money with Uncle Sam. I don't know if you know this, not even your real uncle. So no obligation there. But you got to get them to do something. And here's another secret. I'm giving you all my secrets. You know what Benjamin Franklin said about secrets? 3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. 3 words. Pay taxes now. Whenever I say that, people come up and say, pay taxes now, Ed. What kind of accountant are you? If I pay taxes now, I'll immediately have less, not more. I said, if you look at the long-term big picture, I'm telling you the exact opposite is true. The exact opposite is true. Imagine when rates go up, which I think they will, and even if they don't, some clients think, and you probably heard this, well, when I quit my job or I retire, I'll be in a lower bracket because I won't have that work income, right? That's almost never true. Because they forget that their IRA has built up. I had a client like this years ago when I was doing more tax work. And I did his tax return for the first full year of retirement when he had no wage income anymore. I give him the return. He says, "How could this be? My income's higher than my best working years." I said, "How could this be? Because you never listened to me, that's how. I told you about Roth IRAs for 10 years. Well, now you got this mega IRA, and yes, your RMDs exceed your best working year income. Not only that, you're locked in now. Now you're on the government plan. That's not a good plan. Because now you're locked into RMDs even if you don't need the money. So the idea is to get this account balance down now for the right people and move it into vehicles like Roth. Here's another tip for you. Every one of you has this situation, or will have, I would assume. I don't know all your practices, but every one of you probably has a married couple client where one spouse has already died this year or will die before the end of the year. You probably can write down the name of somebody like that. Here's the advice for the surviving spouse. Talk to them about a Roth conversion so they can get it on their final year joint return. Next year they'll be filing single. The rates will double. Every one of you probably has somebody like that, because if you think about it, we call this the widow's penalty. Why? Because most spouses leave their IRAs to each other, rightfully so. So when, say, the husband dies and the wife inherits everything, her income, other than maybe the difference in Social Security, is going to be pretty much the same income they both had together. But now she's filing as single, and she's going to be subject to RMDs at the higher single rates. Imagine what you can do even if you convert everything. It costs money now, but rates are on sale. They have one more chance this year to get that conversion done at married joint rates. This is the final joint return. And what's the benefit? Yes, you pay tax now, but then the wife, let's say, the surviving spouse, has a Roth IRA. You've just reduced her tax bill for the rest of her life. She doesn't have RMDs. She needs the money tax-free. Plus, the beneficiaries, great deal for the beneficiaries, because even under the Secure Act, they're subject to the 10-year rule, but they can hold it. There's no RMDs for the first 9 years like with a traditional IRA. They can hold it the whole 10 years. To the end of the 10th year after death, accumulating, again, tax-free. So look what you've done in that final joint return year for both the surviving spouse and the beneficiaries. So these are simple things you can have conversations about. All young people, your clients' kids and grandkids, should only be doing Roths. I can't understand why anybody would do a 401k. Now you can have the matching go to the Roth and all of that. Things have changed. Why would you get a tax deduction now? Tax deductions are worthless. You know what a tax deduction is for a 401k when you get to exclude the income? It's really just a loan you're taking from the government that will have to be paid back at some point. Why build up a tax-deferred account? They're no good anymore because Congress made them, if you look long-term to the end of the game, planning with the end in mind, long-term it's a lousy asset for wealth transfer and estate planning. And many clients that you speak to, that's important to them. So the young people have the benefit. Imagine we had a benefit. If we had that benefit, imagine for a minute, all of our IRAs and 401ks, bank, Roth, from $1 were all tax-free. That would be amazing. They have that ability. So to the kids, like the millennial, I don't even know what generation you call them anymore. I have kids in that generation. Here's my advice to them. Stop taking pictures of your food and open a Roth IRA. My kids send me pictures every meal they ever had. And you can't be rude, so you have to answer them and say, "Oh, I'm so proud." You know, like, what you can eat, I guess. Very nice, very nice. My kids make fun of me too. My daughter last year, and she's in her 30s, she was visiting. I said, "Oh, I got to go to the bank." It was close by my office. So I said, "Why don't you take a walk over with me?" She said, "Dad, who goes to the bank anymore? Only old people go to the bank." I said, "You know, that's true, but you know who else goes to the bank? People with money."
Oh. Okay.
That's the Roth IRA. So that is an option for virtually all your clients with IRAs. At least have the conversation. The next option is even better, life insurance. Again, moving from, I always like to say, from accounts in a forever tax, these stinky